Hey guys, it's Liam from Elevate Automotive. Today we're going to be going through fitting a JLEC upgraded alternator into this N70 Hilux. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so this car's actually mine. She's a bit old, but she does the job. I've been noticing when I've been doing some trips that the alternator has not been keeping up, especially if I've got my DC-DC charger and then I start running the compressor as well. I just see the battery voltage dropping. So the factory alternators on these are only 90 amps, so pretty low, pretty slow, and really need something more. So I've got a 50 amp DC-DC charger, and then running a compressor just doesn't do it. So here we've got the JLEC 240 amp one. We've got these available on the website. Part number is just there, BKS240KUN. We also have our own upgraded wiring kit that we'll also have linked down below for these. There is a bracket. I've just already fitted it in the engine bay, so we'll show you that in a second. I've got here some of the bits you'll need. I'm also replacing the belt because it's got a bit old. Just may as well do it while you're out here as well. And then I've got some of the tools. I've got most of them here. If there's anything I missed, we'll link it down below. I've just got a little 10mm spanner, also a 10mm socket. And then I've got a few extension bars with a 12mm on it. That's required to get the airbox out. You'll also need a normal 12, 13 and 14mm socket. I'm just using a 3/8 ratchet. You'll need a longer 3/8 ratchet or any sort of longer ratchet with a 14mm on the end to get the pulleys off. And then I'll also just normally use a 13, 12 and 10mm ring spanner. I've got my impact here, it just makes it a bit easier to do the job. And then lastly, I've also got my amp clamp. Don't need this, but it's just to once we've finished the job, we can test how much power it's putting out, make sure there's no issues with the system. So I'll get the bonnet popped up and we'll start showing what the first steps are. Alrighty, so I've popped the bonnet up here. First things first, when you do any electrical work on a vehicle, make sure you undo the negative. So we'll go ahead and undo the negative terminal here of the battery to make sure we can't short the vehicle at all. While we're here as well, you can also see this bracket. So this is a bracket we specifically make for the N70 Hilux. Reuses the factory bolts both on the guard here and down there, and comes with the mega fuse. You'll see it's also got some built-in holes already for our twin midi fuse holders, so I've used them for both my DC-DC charger, compressor, all that's just fused through here, and then we'll get to the wiring as well. So we'll undo this battery negative, and the next thing we're going to have to do is take the airbox out. So there's some clips under there to undo, and then there's two 12mm bolts under there to take off. I have to take off my snorkel head down the bottom. You won't normally have that. You can just peel the airbox out. If you have got a safari snorkel, you just got it to underneath the guard under there. And then there's a worm drive clamp to undo on there. So we'll get to that and we'll show you that taken out, and then we'll be able to get the alternator out. Alrighty, so we've just finished off taking out the airbox. It ended up being a bit more of an issue than we thought it was going to be with the modification with the airbox. So with the Safari RMAX snorkel, you have to remodify the airbox and cut a big hole in it, put a new inlet side on it. So because of that, I had to actually end up taking the snorkel off the guard to actually get the airbox out. So, but once you do that, it's down in here pretty easy. So there's just two 12mm bolts. There's one down there and then another one up over here. Once you undo that, it's pretty easy. There's just a 10mm worm drive clamp that's on the air inlet line that normally comes up here. I've just taken off to make it a bit easier work around in here as well. So now we can see the alternator just down under here. So we've got the main battery positive under there. We'll take that off. That's now, from memory, a 10mm bolt. So you undo that, you'll also see just over here, we've got the regulator plug. So we'll undo that. And then we've got to go ahead and take the belt off. And there's also a pulley down here that you'll see we have to remove so we can get to this bolt on the alternator. So what I'm going to go do now is I'll undo all these, and then we'll go ahead and get the belt taken off, and we'll show you which one of the pulleys you have to adjust from that. So I thought I'd just do a quick little butt in. Since we've done the recording on this video, there has actually been a slight change with these alternators. JLEC did a little update on them and changed some stuff with how the alternator is mounted and the pulleys and stuff, which means the belt actually does need to be changed. So it is a slightly longer belt. Factory one is 1515, and then the longer one we need is a 1580 belt. So part of the wiring kit will also now include the longer belt that is required. So you'll be able to get that all in the kit, purchase it. You just need the alternator and the kit and everything you need to get in there. So just disregard what I'm saying in the video about me doing the belt because I need to. You will actually be required to do that when you change over the alternator. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, we'll just get back to where we're at. Alrighty, so I've just taken the belt off and thought I'd show you where you're meant to undo these pulleys. So it's kind of hard to see, the camera's not focusing too well, but down there is a 14 mil, which is the correct one you need there. So just push it that way, and then the belt comes loose. I found it easiest to sort of get to just where the alternator is down here. Just undo it off of that, and then flick it off the rest. Now, if you're just going to be doing the alternator and not changing the belt, you can easily just flick it off and leave it there. There's no real reason to replace it, but as I said, I'm going to be replacing my belt, so I just pulled it back around the fan and got it out that way. Now, next thing I'm going to need to do is there's this pulley here, which has got another 14 mil on it. So undo the front of that, and then we can get this main bolt off the alternator here, which allows us to pull this down. Then we get the back ones off the adjusters and get this old unit out. Alright, so I've just gotten ahead and ripped the alternator out. So the pulley that was over here is a 14 mil. Just undo that and pull that off. It's pretty easy. The bolt that you have here as well is also a 14 mil. So you're just going to rip that off, pull it out, and then you should be able to lever it down. I just use a bit of a pry bar to pull against here and pull the alternator down. You then also have an adjuster bolt down here you have to get to on this bracket here, which that is a 12 mil. So just undo that one down there. But easier to have the 12 mil on like a short socket or just a ring spanner, and get space down under here, and just adjust it there. We have got the plug still laying here, and the factory positive here. Now what I'm going to do, because we're not going to be using this, but we still want to keep the factory harness here, is I'm going to chop the little ends off here, little wings, and then tape this up and then put 2 layers of heat shrink over this. So that just makes sure that, because it's still going to be a live connection, we make sure it's protected. So we'll tape that up and then tape it against here. And then when we install our new harness, we'll run that new harness up along and all the way back up to the engine bay, to the battery. Now I thought I'd just also show you here on the bench the 2 different alternators. So one thing that's always really careful to do whenever you're replacing an alternator, especially if you're changing it to a high output one, is just to be safe and do a bit of homework, double check they're right before you go ahead about swapping them in. So a few things to check most commonly is the reg plugs on the back. So we'll check this one here. You've got a 4-pin square one with a little line through it. And we check the Black Series one, same plug on the back through there, nice and easy. Then we'll check the orientation of where the battery positive is. So that's really close to there, just on a little bit of an angle off of it. And we got the same against there with the old OEX one that was in the car. And then lastly, which is probably the most important really, is the mounting location of the terminals. So if we have a look down on this sucker, where we've got this, you'll see we've got the big one over here and then the small one with a bolt on the thread through it on the other side. That's where the adjuster was going through before. So if we then put this Black Series up on the top through here, we'll see that they are quite similar. So big hole through there, adjuster on that side. Now one thing you do have to be careful with, and there is some instructions that come with the alternators, it does say about adjusting the bracket. So we'll just open up here so you can see it too. But basically the adjuster bracket that we have that normally sits over like this and sits underneath the alternator, so it's kind of trailing around it, we're going to want to adjust that and flip it around the other way. So that's what's going to allow us to have the adjustment for the bolt on the bottom of the alternator there to work properly. So we're going to undo that bolt now, get that flipped around. I won't fully tighten this back one here, just so we have the adjustment for the alternator to go in. So let's get that untightened and we'll finish that up. Alrighty, so I've now gone ahead and chucked in the alternator. Now, I did say before I'd try to chuck it up here to begin with. That didn't work the best, so the best option actually is to grab the factory adjuster we had down there, get the bottom bolt onto it. Once that's on there, you can then kind of use that as a bit of a structure to push this top section in. Now when it actually comes to putting the alternator in, I found it's a bit hard, it's a bit tight in this area. You've got an aircon line right here, and there's another one just down here as well you have to be careful of. So way I found it the best is kind of drop it in backwards with the sort of foot going through this sort of hole here, and then you can sort of get in here. Once it's in there, you've got plenty of space to just drop it in and move it around. Now with the bracket that's down there, the bracket we turned around to go the other way, I forgot to mention there is also a washer that comes in the box for those alternators. They don't mention it on that instructions, but you basically have to put it between the bracket and the alternator now. So the old bracket basically stepped in, so imagine it went sort of down and then in towards the alternator. But now that we've flipped it the other way around, it goes down and away from the alternator. So that washer's there just to sort of allow it all to work properly in there. So factory bolts just go back in there and there. Plugs back in on the back over there, which you can see in there. So you can see we've all plugged it back in. I've just put an extra layer of electrical tape over it as well because we're right next to the turbo here. So I just want to make sure, it's a very hot area of the engine bay. I want to make sure that nothing is going to make an issue for no reason. So what we'll do next is we'll get this belt back on and then we can go ahead about putting the wiring kit in. Okay guys, so yeah, well, you just have to feed back through that cable. So we've now gone ahead and installed pretty much all the wiring in here. So you'll see that's where it says the alternator side here. That just put the little boot back over here. It does help if you get some silicone spray just to spray it on, get it back over the top. And then you just tighten that down underneath there. So as I said before, follow the factory harness. So we're going to go down through here, down along the vehicle, and then it goes down on the front. So if we come down underneath in here, you can have a look and see up in here, there's the cable there. So just zip tie that up against the factory harness. That then goes across the front of the motor and then over up to the other side. So we'll just go around there too. So that's just around the front of it. So if we go down through here, and pop back up under here, we'll see he's matched up there. So just follow him along up there, and then up on the other side there, you just follow the harness. It can be a bit hard in there, so just be a bit careful with that one. So just follow it back up, making sure zip tying generally about every 30 centimeters, but sometimes a bit more than that. So it's a bit further down here. You can see where it's come up, just zip tied against that harness. Now the factory cable actually goes into the fusible link. So if you can see, it's down here, follows down, and then goes down in here into the fuse box. We're going to bypass that now with the new alternator cable. So just run that down and then just jump across to this side here. Now I'd recommend zip tying it down here against this factory cable here, this loom. That way it pulls it away from this coolant line here. So just making sure that nothing happens that shouldn't. So just keep it tight there. And got about 10 mil of space there just in case anything happens. Then we'll just feed them back up through here onto the fuse holder here. So you see obviously it's labeled alternator fuse, nice and easy so you know what goes onto. And then underneath here, you'll have your 250 amp mega fuse there. Now, normally in the kit, there is also a wire that comes from the other side of the fuse back to the start battery positive. Now, in my case, I've just modified that because I have got these other mini fuse holders here. It's the same length cable, just put a bigger lug on there and then just have to split off here. Rather than having to run two new cables from here back to battery, it just makes it a bit neater. Now, I've gotten fitted the Unilug we use on most of the setups here. They're a great solution to make putting more stuff in a battery really easy and try and eliminate crowding. The other thing that's really good with them is, especially with high current situations, these are a really nice big bit of forged brass. So, sorry, not brass, but they're a really nice big forged bit of kit that has a really good clamp on them. So the factory one you actually see here, so I haven't gotten the chance to move this back over yet, but this is a factory clamp. It's quite thin across it and doesn't actually get a full clamp around this. So you can imagine if you've got a high amount of current going through this, that can get quite hot because of the extra resistance. That's a real good reason we use these a lot. It does also help with just having the extra 2 terminals on there to allow you to use the extra stuff. So normally if you had the factory terminal, you just go back to this bolt on here, but in this case with the Unilug, we've been able to go back to here and then just run the cable from here down along underneath. So it's really nice there. And then you can just reconnect the negative. So that's pretty much most of it for your wiring. We're pretty close to being done and being able to test this. So what we'll need to do now is pretty much reverse of when we installed it. So We're going to have to go back over that side over there, put the airbox back in, reconnect that back up. I won't put the snorkel in just yet because we're just going to test everything. We'll have to get the car running and double check everything is all good. And the alternator is putting out the correct voltage and current that we expect it to. So we'll get into that and we'll just jump to that now. Alrighty, so I've just finished up putting the airbox back together. I just thought I'd show you the last few tips for that, for when you're doing that yourself. So when you put that back in, obviously I had to deal with the snorkel, so the big air intake here that gets modified with part of the Safari snorkels is a bit of a pain. So that's a bit annoying. I did have to take off the air inlet valve from the, inlet pipe from the airbox to the turbo down there. You shouldn't normally need to do that with the airbox as it stands from the factory. So that's a bit annoying for me, but most people should be pretty easy. Just a 10mm there to tighten that back up. Back again, as we said before, 2 bottom bolts on there, so one at the back there, so front, and then that one at the back down there, are both 12mm. They're the bolts that hold down the airbox. Pretty easy. You just put the clips back on as you did. Check your air filter while you're at it. Mine was okay. We'll service the car pretty soon, so didn't really need to bother. And then just the mass airflow sensor just gets plugged back in. Make sure you do that. Otherwise, you might throw a code and just plug that back in. Make sure he's just nice and tight. So pretty much done there before we can test it. Obviously, you put that back on, but we'll get back to that in a minute. And then we'll just come over here, and now we're pretty much ready to get the negative back on. So make sure you remove the rag that you had here before, and then we can go ahead and put this back on, and then we can get the car started and get the testing started. Alrighty, so we've just turned the car on and getting some testing on. If we just turn the voltmeter back on, we'll see we're charging at about 13.9 volts. If I go down here over to our amp clamp, it might be hard to see because it'll be upside down, but we're getting about 100 amps, 110 amps worth of charge current going in. Now, I put a whole bunch of load on, so we've got spotties on, light bar on the roof on, the DC-DC chargers on, air cons on, blower is on. So everything we need is on max, so we're just going to get an idea about sort of our max load. So yeah, we can see we're at about 110 is so we're sort of stably sitting at. Now if I go ahead and turn the loads off, this will jump up to about sort of 14.4 volts, which is what we expect it to do. But it's good to see under a high load, even at idle, we're still getting a really high voltage. Before with the old OEX alternator, we were only getting about, with this same sort of setup, we were only getting about sort of 12.7 volts. But even then, if that was over an extended period of time, it would keep on dropping. So obviously the alternator is not keeping up with the loads required. So that's something we've gotten fixed with this setup here. So we'll get it all put back together and all finished up, and we'll just do some final bits. Alright, so we put that all back together. My snorkel is now back on. The vehicle is all good to go. We've all put it back together with no issues. So we've now successfully put in the Black Series 240 amp alternator along with our own wiring kit. So the wiring kit will be linked down below along with the alternator itself. If you're looking for something like this for your own car, make sure to hit us up at info@elevateauto.com.au. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video.